Good morning everyone. We are from the first group. We are going to choose literature concentration because it allows us to analyze various things, such as what we are going to do now. We will discuss about literary criticism in the book Bridge to Terabithia, especially moral criticism, biographical criticism, and new criticism. Our group consists of me, Ainun Rizki Pratiwi, Isma Dewanti, and Mufliha Halawa. Before talking about the subform of literary criticism, we will discuss about the definition of literary criticism.
What is literary criticism? Literary criticism is the study and interpretation of works of literature. It involves discussion, debate, and evaluating meaning literary texts, aiding our understanding of the relationship between authors, readers, and texts. There are many subforms of literary criticism which are constantly evolving, such as moral criticism, biographical criticism, new criticism, Marxist criticism, reader response criticism, structuralism, post-structuralism, new historicism, post-colonial criticism, feminist criticism, and gender or queer studies. But today we will discuss moral criticism, biographical criticism, and new criticism. Bridge to Terabithia. Bridge to Terabithia tells a story of bullied kids, Jess Aarons and Leslie Burke, 12-year-old neighbors who create a fantasy world called Terabithia and spend their free time together in an abandoned tree house.
What is moral criticism? Moral criticism is a type of literary critique that judges the value of the literature based on its moralisms or ethical teachings. The history of moral criticism begins since 360 before century. Plato argued that literature and art had the ability to influence people. Now, I will explain the moral value of Bridge to Terabithia. First, be kind towards each other. Be kind toward each other is important. Being kind to someone might just open a door to a new friendship or develop a social connection with someone. The effect a kind act might have changed that person to be a better person, just like what Leslie did to Janice. In the book, we know that Jess and Leslie get bullied in school by Janice, but Leslie still comforted Janice when she was sad. At the end, Janice became friends with Jess. The second moral value is no matter what you are going through, it is not a reason to be mean to others. Everyone has their own struggle. With you being mean, it will add more problem on them. The third one, violence is not a good thing because it can lead to another violence. Violence has lifelong consequences. Toxic stress associated with repeated exposure to violence in early childhood can interfere with healthy brain development and can lead to aggressive and antisocial behaviors, substance abuse, risky sexual behavior, and criminal activity. The fourth, you shouldn't judge someone based on where they are from or what they believe in. In the book, Leslie is being judged as a freak girl because of her clothes. Before judging someone, you need to put yourself in their shoes. Your words and action can ruin any relationship in a matter of a few minutes, but you will never earn someone's trust back and build a strong relationship in a matter of few minutes. The fifth, respect other choice. We need to accept that we are all different. By respecting other choice, you are showing them that they have value. The sixth, Be creative. Creativity helps you see things differently. In this book, Terabithia is made by Leslie and Jess creativity. Without creativity, they can't see it. The seventh, just be yourself. Being yourself is all about knowing what you believe in and the values that you live by. When you are not yourself, you will take on the values and beliefs of others. This is when you start conforming to other people's expectation and way of thinking. When you know your values and why you do what you like, you will live according to your own values and beliefs. The eighth, don't underestimate your child problem because it is as pressuring as the problem that adults face. Just because they are still young, it doesn't mean their problem is not as pressuring as the adult's problem. The ninth, gender equality is important. Just because Jess is the only boy in his family, it doesn't mean he needs to work harder than his siblings. His sister deserves to get the same treatment. The 10th, parents should pay more attention to their children. Children need attention in order to grow, develop self-esteem and a positive sense of identity, and to flourish and succeed. The 11th, no one should limit it of their passion. When you follow your passion in life, you are happier overall. You are more sated with yourself and the decision that you make, and not weighted down by the common stressor that come along with not doing what you love. Overall, you feel more uplifted and have a far greater peace of mind. Although Jess's passion is not supported by his parents, fortunately, Miss Edmonds and Leslie support him. The 12th, don't give up on your dream. If you give up on your dream, you might not be happy. You will not live the unique life you wanted when you were younger. The 13th, treasure those who matter to you as if today is the last. Life is full of surprises. You will never know for certain what your future will look like. You don't know when the people you love leave you. Therefore, you must cherish every moment of togetherness.
Next, biographical criticism. What is biographical criticism? According to a Handbook of Critical Approaches to Literature, 4th edition, biographical approach can be defined as the approach that sees a literary work chiefly, if not exclusively, as a reflection of the author's life and times, or the life and times of the characters in the work. Guerra 22. On the other hand, we could define biographical approach as a criticism that focusing on the writer's biography to show the relationship between the text and the author. Next, background of the author, Bridge to Terabithia. Catherine Wommeldorf Peterson, also known as Catherine Peterson, born October 31, 1932 in Huaiyan, Jiangsu, China. She is a Chinese-born American writer best known for children's novels. She and her family live in a Chinese neighborhood and deeply involved with Chinese culture. When she was 5 years old, her family returned to the United States at the onset of World War II to avoid the Japanese invasion of 1937 in China. Wommeldorf family moved 15 times over 13 years. Her husband, Reverend John Peterson, was a Presbyterian minister. They were married in 1962 and moved to New York. She has 4 children, 2 biological and 2 adopted. Next, the story behind Bridge to Terabithia. The first story is Catherine's son struggled in school. Her third child, David, 8 years old, ended up feeling isolated and saddened by his family's occasional issues. David's love to running and drawing. Both of the characters Jess and David also have an estranged father and a crush on a music teacher. The second story is David found a best friend named Lisa Hill. She always comforting him when he had a problem. Both of them spent hours together every week, laughing at each other's jokes and playing t-ball together. They enjoyed using their imaginations and playing fantasy games in the woods behind Lisa's house, which became the inspiration for the book setting, Bridge to Terabithia. The third story is Lightning tragically struck Lisa dead. One day in the summer of 1974, Catherine got a call that Lisa is dead. Lisa was at a beach in Delaware with her family when lightning struck and killed her instantly. A storm had been visible on the horizon, but the sky appeared clear and Lisa was only at the water's edge. So in the book, they changed Lisa's death because the real accident was almost impossible to happen. The fourth story is Catherine and David felt devastated. After Lisa's death, David became depressed and angry. Catherine felt traumatized by the senselessness of Lisa's death. Because of that, Catherine wrote Bridge to Terabithia to help make sense of Lisa's death. The fifth story is Nomaden Lifestyle. Nomaden Lifestyles also inspired her to write Bridge to Terabithia because she has many secret places. She named her secret places Terabithia, which inspired by Narnia.
New criticism is the theory which is focusing the attention on the text itself. It doesn't regard another source like the biography of the author or the response of the reader. We can analyze new criticism by close reading. There are 8 intrinsic elements that become a focal point in doing close reading, such as theme, point of view, characterization, plot, setting, metaphor, symbolism, and figurative language. For this time, we would like to talk about 3 intrinsic points that are the point of view, the theme, and the characterization. Friendship is the central theme of the Bridge to Terabithia novel. This story tells about the friendship between Jess Aaron and Leslie Burke. They share the strength as both people are involved. They each have things to teach, to encourage, and to believe in each other. For example, Jess' painting ability is strengthened by Leslie's imagination and make him more imaginative for his paintings. Then, Leslie's courage is developed when Jess encourages her to help Janice Avery. Their friendship means helping each other to become more open to a world than they had known before. Bridge to Terabithia novel is using third-person limited omniscient point of view. It means that the readers can see the events and the circumstances as Jess, the main characters of the story, would see them. Like we are peeking over his shoulder. We usually know how he feels. Throughout the whole story, the readers only get to know by his thoughts. Even though the readers see Leslie's behavior and her emotional reactions, we never hear the story from Leslie's point of view. We also never get to hear her mind or find out how she pictures the magical kingdom of Terabithia. When she dies, we don't have any way to process that information, except to feel sad along with Jess. For characterization, we analyze the main character, that is Jess Aarons. At first, Jess doesn't have an imagination like Leslie. He can't even imagine about Terabithia and the imaginary creatures inside Terabithia like Leslie did, because it doesn't actually exist. He thinks he can't even get there without Leslie. But as time goes by, he's starting to see the outside world the way Leslie taught him to see Terabithia. He's becoming able to see the Terabithia and all of the creatures that only exist in their mind. He already makes the magic for himself. Jess is the only boy in his family. He has 2 older sisters and 2 younger sisters. His family, especially his father, expects him to be the dutiful son and brother. And their family often makes Jess do a lot of chores because he is a boy. They expect him to be masculine. Jess' personal passion and skills such as art and painting are to be discouraged because it sounds not masculine. However, when Leslie comes along, she encourages him to do his art. Leslie nurtures this through encouragement and a gift of an expensive paint set. Jess becomes more confident with his talent of painting. By his friendship with Leslie Burke, Jess Aarons' character evolves during the story because Leslie always encourages him to become himself, so that Jess truly manages to find himself. So, the conclusion is that a literary work can be interpreted through literary criticism. Some literary criticism that we have discussed include moral criticism, biographical criticism, and new criticism. Moral criticism believes that the larger purpose of literature is to teach morality. Biographical criticism is a form of literary criticism that analyzes the author's biography to show the relationship between the author's life and their work. New criticism is a theory that focuses on the text itself. By analyzing Bridge to Terabithia novel with these 3 criticisms, can help readers to interpret the text deeper than just reading.